Hello everyone, welcome to the 2017 Draper Hills TED Talk for our fellows. Well, I am Trinh Hoi, not Hoi, which means smelly in Vietnamese. So it's Trinh Hoi, and I am from Vietnam. It's going to be the title of my talk, and to some of you, maybe you think, well, why would he want to say that he's from Vietnam? Isn't that so obvious? Well, it was and it is obvious to you. But for me, personally, for a very long time, it wasn't so obvious. Because for a very long time, I wasn't so proud to say where I'm from. If you look at in front of you, on your table, each of you has a flag representing the country that you're from. Well, I don't. It's not because Frank forgot the flag, but it's because on the first day, I took the flag out and I, gave it to Serena, and Serena was kind enough to say that it's okay if I don't want that flag. That flag doesn't represent me, it's illegitimate, and because it is a symbol of oppression. It is a flag that doesn't represent me, nor does it represent Vietnam. And I guess it's because also it's not the flag that I was born under. You see, I was born in 1970 in the then Republic of Vietnam, or simply called South Vietnam. So just imagine it's like Germany before '89, or Korea right now with South Korea and North Korea. For 5 years, I lived in South Vietnam. And when the war ended in 1975, when in one very moment, a whole country was vanished, that's when I sort of knew or started having memories of Vietnam. I was 5 years old then. So my first memories of Vietnam were of poverty. Right after the war, my dad was sent to prison because of his links to the South Vietnamese army. And after being in prison for 3 years, he was actually released. But then our house was confiscated. Together with millions of other South Vietnamese, we were banished to new economic zones where I grew up, where there was no water, no electricity, and where my youngest brother died. It is also in that remote island that my dad escaped by boat, and having spent 10 days on the high sea, he got to Thailand, and then after that, he got resettled in Australia. And it took him 5 years to sponsor us over. So as the son of a refugee, I got to Australia at the age of 15. And when we left Vietnam, we thought that we would never go back. So when I got to Australia, and Australia was a great land of opportunity, there was water all the time, the TV was on all the time, there was electricity. I thought that was it. That's my new identity. And so not only because I didn't want to think about Vietnam, but also because of my rush towards assimilation and integration, I wanted to become an Australian. So throughout law school, and then even when I got a law job at Baker McKenzie, one of the biggest law firms in the world, whenever someone asked me, or wherever, I would say, I'm from Australia. That's what I would say. But still, there was something nagging, a question nagging me, like, am I really from Australia? If I'm really from Australia, then why do I think of Vietnam so much? And so, fast forward, 2007, having spent some time working as a pro bono lawyer in the Philippines, I decided to go back to Vietnam to really find out if I'm truly from Vietnam, and also how I could be proud to be saying that I'm from Vietnam. You see, Vietnam was changing, and as romantic as Omar, I want to go back and see if I could help change the country. But I was wrong. Within 6 months of going back to Vietnam, I was interrogated by the police for the human rights work and the refugee work I was doing in the Philippines. And before I knew it, I was not allowed to go out of the country. And I still remember that very moment when I went to the Australian embassy in Vietnam and asked for help. And they said there's nothing that they could do because under Vietnamese law, I'm Vietnamese. Anyhow, after 6 months of interrogation, they released me. And they gave me 48 hours to leave Vietnam. And of course, I had to leave Vietnam. And ever since then, it's been 9 years since I have not been allowed to go back to my homeland. I've been trying my best to do all that I can so that one day I could go back to Vietnam. I'm managing an NGO right now that provides capacity building training for activists in Vietnam. I'm trying to do advocacy for friends who are right now in prison. Just 21 days ago, a friend of mine, a blogger, was sent to prison for 10 years for simply blogging and trying to criticize the government for the authoritarian rule that they are placing Vietnam right now. And just yesterday, a friend of mine who remains in prison since December 2015, his father passed away yesterday and he doesn't still know. So the reason why I'm saying I'm from Vietnam is because I'm standing here and telling you that I would try my best so that one day a flag will be there representing me, representing a free, democratic, and compassionate Vietnam, and that hopefully one day, not just me, but 95 million Vietnamese will be proud to say that we are from Vietnam. Thank you.